So I'm going on a wee trip to the mountains tomorrow, and I thought I would tell you a bit about the route I'm taking and some of the kit I'm taking with me. The route is in the north of Scotland, and I'll spread it over 3 days. It's about 60-70 kilometres long and about 4,500 metres of ascent, and then at the end there's a small 15k cycle. So it's summertime here in Scotland, so I've been waiting for some good weather. I've been trying to wait for it to be not too warm, as it has been recently, but also I don't want to wait till it's too cold and I need to carry kind of autumn heavier kit with me. So I'm hoping that this will be the right time to go, although it does look like it could edge towards being too warm, but we'll see. The forecast, there's to be no rain over the 3 days, or just a little bit of rain on day one. It's mostly to be clear skies, and the temperatures have to be around 10, 11, 12 degrees up high, which is okay, although in the glens it's to get quite warm up to the 20s, so it could be too warm at points, but we'll see. But overall, I'm trying to go as light as I can for these 3 days. So I'll just tell you a little bit about the kit. So I've got a 35 litre rucksack. It's about 500 grams. It's my lightest pack. I've got my new summer sleeping bag finally arrived. It's about 600, 550 grams. So I'm hoping that's good. I've got a small single skin tent. Just use that in summer. It's about 700 grams. I've got a bag of pegs, quite a lot of pegs because it is to be windy overnight, so I've taken a few extras. A small pillow, a sleeping bag liner, a closed cell foam mat, I always take that, and then a windproof jacket. I've got a sun hat. I don't often take that, but I will on this trip. A midgie net, absolutely essential. Hat and gloves, I always take them no matter what time of year. I've got like a toilet trowel and toilet stuff. Some sun cream, I don't often take that, but I will now. A platypus for water and some water bottles. A small first aid kit. Some electronics. I've got a small head torch, battery pack, compass is in there, the map's in the bag, a locator beacon, that's mostly it, a spare shoelace. And then in my chest pouch I've got a water filter because I'll be up high for a lot of the time, so the water might be scarce. So I might need to filter it more than if it's in a running stream. A small cup to let me drink from any streams that I pass. My GoPro and some snacks. That's what's in there. I'm not taking a stove, partly to save weight, partly to save time, but mostly because cooking when there's loads of midges can be a bit annoying. So I'm just taking dried food. So I've got some bars, nuts, things like that. I'm taking 2 bags of food. That's for kind of day 1.5. That's for the second 2 days, because the route does drop down to a road, so I'll be able to stash this food beside the road and pick it up in the middle of day 2. So hopefully that'll help, or that does save a bit of weight. I've just got my light fabric boots and woolen socks, and then in terms of clothing, I've been tempted just to wear shorts and t-shirt. I never do that really, mostly because of ticks and Lyme disease, but also just because of exposure and temperature. But it does look like it might be possible. I always wear shorts underneath my trousers, so my thought at the moment is probably to wear my trousers, and if it gets too hot, to take them off and just walk in my shorts. And I'm probably going to start off in my woolen top, and unusually I'll take a spare t-shirt. I never really do that, but it's pretty light, and if it's too hot I can change into it. And then I will probably take a fleece with me, just because the temperature has to drop overnight, So that could be useful if I'm sitting around in the evenings. So hope that's of interest. We'll see how I get on. We'll see what the base weight of this is without food or water. 4.6 kilos, just under. Lovely wee boathouse. Just started the walk, about 2 or 3 kilometres in. Very still. Single line cloud. So this is where I've come from. You can see the wee boathouse. Very still. There's a faint path, and that's where I'm going. Doesn't look too much fun, but if the path continues it'll be okay. It was nearly sunset when I arrived at the place I wanted to camp, so I quickly set up the tent and was able to watch the sunset from within my tent, which was absolutely fantastic. Let's see what sort of day we've got. What sort of morning we have?
tent was, leaving no trace.
I knew I had a lot of ground to cover on the second day, but there was just no way I was going to rush leaving the views that I had. I could have sat there for many hours taking them in. Eventually, though, it was time to leave and get on with the day's hard walking ahead.
Exactly halfway in the 3 days, and I'm down at the road where I have left a bag of food, which I'm now going to collect and head on up for the next half, if I can remember where I left it.
I did recover my food, but I also found that a wee animal had chewed through a couple of bags to have a snack at my roll. But I got it anyway and I pressed on for a while, but the heat of the day was just too much, so I decided to stop for an hour or two and pitch my tent and get some shelter from the sun. I found a brilliant spot on the top of this hill. You can see my tent set up and my washing out drying. Was able to watch the sunset more or less from the door of the tent, although later I moved just where you can see there
to watch the sun finally dip. An absolutely magnificent evening. I was pleased to reach the 15th and final munro of the trip, and I stood at the top and took in the absolutely fantastic views for a while.
That wee video and seeing some of the photos and video clips from the trip. You'll see that I was incredibly lucky on that trip. I had two fantastic sunsets. I woke up to two cloud inversions both mornings. I was able to camp on top of two different munros, and wake up to these amazing views. So it was an absolutely fantastic trip. I really enjoyed it. The weather was very warm during the days, and you'll see that I stopped during the second day and put up my tent and had to take a break just because of the heat. So that was just a little tricky. Overall, the kit that I took worked really well. I was really pleased with what I took. It was certainly the right decision to take a tent. There was a lot of bugs around, and everything else kind of worked well. My sleeping bag, the boots and so on. I think the only things that I could have done with differently, I took a relatively new sun hat. It turned out it was too small, and gave me a headache, so that wasn't quite so good. And I was debating whether to take a light t-shirt or the wool top, and that's definitely something I need to work on for this newfound heat that we're getting in the Scottish summer. So I've got some ideas to kind of take a lighter t-shirt. I did take one, but it wasn't particularly good, so something to look at going forward. Other than that, I think most of the kit worked well. I was really glad of the hydration kind of strategy that I took. You know, I was wearing the bottles on the shoulder straps. I had my water filter in my chest pod, and that worked really well. There wasn't much water, and when there was some, it wasn't always the best quality. So being able to hydrate quickly and frequently was definitely a good strategy in that heat, over that distance as well, in the number of days. So that worked well, and yeah, I changed my food around a wee bit, and that worked really well. I was really pleased with that as well. So quite a lot of positives, a few small things to work on, but hopefully you got a sense of just how spectacular the trip was. I really was very fortunate with the weather, so thanks very much for watching.